Hello, my Luminites, it is Ivy and welcome back to my channel. Or if you are new here, hello, my name is Ivy, also known as Intuitive Ivy. I'm here on this channel and on calendly.com/intuitivivm, where I do live tarot and oracle card readings. So if you guys would like to book a private live reading with me, consider hitting that link down below. Also, I am the co-founder of an amazing spiritual business company. It's me and my best friend and it is called Unearthly Treasures. We make things such as earrings for those that dare to be different and unique. We also make spell jar necklaces for purposes such as protection and prosperity. We make essential oil blends and mists and sprays for things such as helping you sleep, and also for love and things like that. And we also sell keychains based off of your favorite deities to honor your favorite deities. So if you guys would like to check us out, we are at unearthlytreasures.com. I will also post the link down below. If you are new here, hi! This channel is all about the magical, the mystical, and the supernatural. So if you are into one or all three of those things, consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on that notification bell to be notified when I post. I usually post 3 times a week. Mondays are for the magical, Wednesdays are for the mystical, and Fridays or Saturdays are for the supernatural. So I have a sort of anti-haul for you. These are the tarot decks that I sort of regret buying. I don't want to say regret because I think that everything happens for a reason, but these are just decks that I was honestly very disappointed with. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. We're gonna start off with the Universal Waite deck. So this is the Universal Waite deck. It's pretty much like the Rider Waite deck, except this is tinier. This is a deck that I got when I was taking a tarot class to learn how to do tarot, and she recommended that we got the Rider Waite deck, and I was just like, I'm not gonna get the Rider Waite deck. Like, I'm not gonna waste money on that. I'd rather just spend a little less and get the Universal Waite deck, even though it's a little bit smaller. I mean, I'm never gonna use it anyways. And it's true, I never used it. I never used it other than that class. I have used it a couple of times, but never for readings on a person. I've only done it for like pick a card readings on Instagram. I don't think I've ever used it on this YouTube channel. This is just not a deck that I use at all. I don't connect with this deck at all. I didn't like this deck at all, which is weird because now that I have the Rider Waite Tarot, I deeply connected with that deck. But this one, I didn't connect with, like, at all. I just did not like this deck. I didn't like it. I don't know what else to say. I just didn't connect with it. It just wasn't my vibe. So that's the Universal Waite deck. So the next deck that I'm going to talk about is the Secrets of the Tarot deck. So this is a deck that is actually very great for beginners. I actually saw it at Five Below for like $5, which is why I got it. I'm like, it's only $5. And I decided to get it. And the thing is, this is great for beginners, but I'm not, like, I don't consider myself a beginner. I know how to use the tarot very well, both intuitively and by the book. So this is not one that I connect with, like, at all. This one has the name of the card, and it'll have like a description of what it means. This is not a deck that I use at all. The cards are very flimsy, very cheaply made. I mean, it was $5, so what could you expect for $5, right? But also, like, I can't really use this on readings because they have the descriptions at the bottom. So I never really use these cards. They're actually really pretty cards. The illustrations are actually very pretty, but I just didn't connect with it just because of that. And I don't want to just like look at the bottom, because sometimes I do like to rely on my intuition, and I do like to rely on the symbolism of what's going on in the pictures. The next deck is one that I got in the Lunarly box. In this deck, I was actually like, I really like the backings, and the illustrations are absolutely gorgeous, but I don't understand them. Like this one, we have the Six of Swords, And like, I know what the Six of Swords means like by the book, but sometimes I want to read with my intuition. Like if I don't see any symbolism or any symbolism that I can really work with, I can't like tune into it like at all. Like I don't know anything about plants and the symbolism behind plants. You know, sometimes I like to look at the symbolism and I don't tune into this like at all. Like I don't know too much about plants. I mean, I know how to water them and keep them alive for the most part, but I don't know anything about plants. So I guess if you're a plant lover and you know what each of these plants are, and also like the symbolic meaning behind each plant, I can see why this would be a deck that you would greatly enjoy. But like me, if I were to read this by the book, yeah, I can do it. But sometimes I want to rely on like symbolism and intuition and all those things, and this isn't doing it for me like at all. So I actually have never used this deck like ever, because it's just one that I can't really connect to, and I can't really use my symbolism and all that stuff with it. So there's that one. So the next tarot deck that I just honestly did not like at all is the Tarot de El Dios de los Tres. This came in a 9 of Earth box, I believe. And this box, when I first got it, I was very excited because it has like tigers and stuff. And that's what my fiance calls me. And I love the fact that it has like the Spanish and the English meanings to them. But honestly, these cards are very Pip deckish, if that makes any sense. Like, it's very Pip-ish. There are a little bit of illustrations on them and a little bit of symbolism behind it, but this is not one that I can really connect with when it comes to like symbolism and that sort of sorts. Like the Eight of Swords, like with the horses and stuff, I don't really connect with this deck at all. Like the pictures are very pretty and I enjoy them, but this is just not one that I connect with. The major arcana seem to be a little bit more fully illustrated, as it usually is. So the major arcana I can connect with a little bit more, but the minor arcana are just kind of like 2 cups, and then you have 2 cups in the Pisces sign, and then you have 3 of cups, and then you just have eyeballs in 3 cups. Like, I just feel like the pictures are just sort of random. Sometimes the symbols make sense, but sometimes I just feel like they're just throwing random things in there that don't really make too much sense with what the card represents and what the card means. So I didn't connect with this deck too much, like at all. And I haven't used it since I got it. And usually when I get a new deck, I cleanse it and I'll use it right away because I'm excited to use it, and that just didn't happen with this deck. The next deck that I regret, and now that I have it, I am honestly pretty disappointed. Like, the major arcana is really awesome. I love how it has movie stars and all that, and I love that. The court cards and the major arcana are my favorite part about this deck. But then when you get to the minor arcana, it's literally just very Pip-ish. So the 10 of cups, there's literally just 10 cups. Like the 5 of swords, there's just 5 swords. The 6 of swords, there's just 6 swords. There's no symbolism to it. There's no complexity to it. There's nothing to like really do behind it, and I feel like they could have done so much more with it, especially since it was such an amazing deck. And I love the fact that they had all these icons on this deck that made sense with the major arcana cards and the court cards. But when you got to the minor arcana and like the 5 of swords, 4 of swords, things like that, it was something that like you had to just solely rely on the book. There was nothing else. There's not too much there. It lacked a lot, and Pip decks I'm just not a fan of at all. I really liked the major arcana and I really liked the court cards, and if they had just stuck to that theme, this probably would have been one of my favorite decks. But they decided to be like, oh, for the rest of the cards we're just gonna put 5 cups and 4 cups and 2 of wands, and like not add not add anything else to it when they could have done so much more. Like the Two of Cups could have been represented by some other like icon. Like the last deck that I'm going to talk about is this deck right here. This is a deck that I got a part of the first Nine of Earth box, and it was like one of those like welcome boxes, and it came with this deck. And I actually ended up giving the guidebook, which is actually a book to learn tarot, and you could use any deck with it, out in the giveaway, and I kept the deck. However, I regret keeping the deck. I thought this was a deck that I was going to use, and now I wish that I had just given it away as a set, because ever since I've had this, I have not used this deck even once. I don't know if it's just like subconsciously I feel like I should have given it away as a set, and I feel like I shouldn't have kept the deck, and that's what's on the back of my mind, which keeps me from connecting to this deck, but I just have not connected to it at all. It's not anything new to me. It's not anything that's spectacular. It's not something that like I connect with at all. It literally just looks like every other deck, and while some it's fine to like incorporate some of the Rider-Waite themes, I just feel like I have too many decks that look like this, that it's not something that's new to me. It's not something that speaks to me. It's not something that calls to me. It's not something that's like overly like exciting to look at or happy to look at. Maybe if this was a deck that I had started with and I was just beginning the tarot, this would be something that I would be a little bit more excited of working with. But now that I have a lot more experience and I have a lot of decks, this doesn't stand out from the crowd of the other decks that I have, and so I don't use this. Like in turn, I just don't use this deck at all. I just don't connect with it, and I honestly regret keeping this deck. I honestly wish that I had just given it out as a set of both the deck and the guidebook. Not that the guidebook is lacking anything, because the guidebook is actually a book that it's literally its own book that could be used with any sort of tarot deck, not just this one. So it's not like I just gave out any random guidebook that's like for that particular deck. It's a guidebook that actually helps learning any tarot deck, but still I just feel like I should have just given the deck too, just because I don't use it at all. So to compensate for that, I probably will be giving out this deck in the 1,000 subscriber giveaway, so stay tuned for that. Once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to be giving out this deck along with the Moonology deck that I have and a few other things. We're almost there. We're almost at 900, so we'll be there pretty soon, like for sure. I know for sure we will. So that is it, you guys. Those are the decks that I regret buying. Those are the decks that I just did not connect with, that I just didn't like. So let me know, you know, what are your thoughts? Are there any decks that you regret buying? Are there decks that you don't really connect with or pick up at all? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys so much, and I hope that I see you in the next video.